Hey everybody, Jeff aka GCurse here. Welcome to the Season 1 Episode 13 preview of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. This episode will cover Unsolved Mysteries Season 1 Episode 13. In this episode of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries, I will be covering 3 of the 5 cases that were originally covered in Unsolved Mysteries Season 1 Episode 13. The 3 cases I will be covering is the case of Lee Selwyn, Michael Rosenblum, and Arthur Frankfurt. The other 2 cases I already covered, and I will put the cases in the description below so you can check those so you can check those videos out if you would like. But first, let's get to the first case, and I will give you a brief rundown. In the first case, we have the case of Lee Selwyn. Basically, Lee was the perfect example of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Lee, he was part of a group of friends who liked to ride motorcycles, and one evening they were heading home, if I remember correctly, and they were all at an intersection when a vehicle cut them off, and basically one thing led to another, and it ended up with Lee being chased while he was on his motorcycle. He was being chased by a vehicle, and the vehicle literally forced Lee to be run into a telephone pole, at which point Lee sadly was killed. This case kind of sticks with me all the time because it just goes to show like how people who are not even involved in an incident can still become a victim. But yeah, so this one is one of the cases I always tend to think about when I look back at Unsolved Mysteries. Up next, we have the mysterious disappearance of Michael Rosenblum. Michael Rosenblum was a person who was fighting his demons, basically, and he was kicked out of his home by his parents. And I think it was his home. He was either visiting or he was living there, but he was kicked out of the house by his parents because they found out he was on drugs still. Well, while at the gas station, Michael ended up taking the car that him and his girlfriend were using at the time, and he basically told the girlfriend to go back to his parents' house, that he would be home in a couple hours. Michael never returned home. And there is accusations of police involvement, a police cover-up. Where does the truth lay? No one really knows. But what was ultimately determined is that Michael Rosenblum was or is dead. I cannot recall if they determined if it was murder or not, but we will find out when we cover the case coming up. Finally, we have the case of a wanted individual named Michael Frankfurt, or Arthur Frankfurt, sorry, Arthur Frankfurt. I cannot recall what his alias was right now as I'm recording this, but basically Arthur, he was known for basically getting into relationships with elderly ladies and then basically robbing them blind while they were out of the house, basically, from what I can understand. Thankfully, he was apprehended. The one thing I forgot to mention regarding the Lee Selwyn case is that the killer of Lee Selwyn, was also apprehended. So there's that. But yeah, so our Arthur Frankfurt was apprehended, and I'm not sure if he's still serving prison time, but he was sentenced to prison, if I remember correctly. We will once again find out when I cover the case. But that covers this preview of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries Season 1, Episode 13. Just to sum it all up, I will be covering 3 cases. The first case I will be covering is the case of Lee Selwyn, followed by the case of Michael Rosenblum, and then finally Arthur Frankfurt. I cannot wait to start covering these cases. Which case do you like, or which case interests you the most? Is it case number 1, number 2, or number 3? But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you next time. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse, wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.